Have you ever felt that familiar knot in your stomach? The one that tightens when you try to say no to a request, only to be immediately followed by a wave of crushing guilt. Are you tired of feeling guilty every time you try to say no? This feeling, this pervasive guilt, is a silent saboteur. It drains your energy, erodes your self-respect, and leaves you feeling trapped in relationships that consistently take more than they give. You are not alone in this struggle. Many individuals find themselves caught in this cycle, constantly prioritizing others' needs over their own, fearing conflict or rejection. This emotional drain is real. It manifests as resentment, exhaustion, and a profound sense of powerlessness. It prevents you from living authentically, from building relationships based on genuine mutual respect, and from cultivating the internal power you deserve. Mainstream belief tells us that setting boundaries is difficult, makes you feel guilty, or will inevitably damage relationships, that you should prioritize harmony and others' feelings over your own needs to maintain connections. This perspective, while seemingly empathetic, is fundamentally incomplete. It focuses on the idea of boundaries, but fails to provide a concrete step-by-step method for implementation, especially addressing the pervasive guilt that sabotages efforts, leaving individuals feeling stuck and unsupported in the practical application. It leaves you with the problem, but no strategic solution. But here is the strategic truth. Strategically defining and enforcing clear, firm boundaries is a powerful act of self-preservation that paradoxically strengthens authentic relationships and cultivates genuine respect, leading to unshakable personal power and peace, not guilt or conflict.
This is not about being selfish, it is about being strategic. It is about investing in your long-term well-being and the health of your connections. Today, I am giving you the Strategic Boundary Blueprint, a practical, guilt-free alternative to navigate this crucial aspect of self-respect and relationship management. This blueprint will equip you with the tools to communicate your limits effectively, overcome the guilt associated with saying no, and transform your relationships to foster genuine respect and personal power, rather than resentment or emotional drain. This is your path to reclaiming your energy, your time, and your peace. Let us begin by understanding the root of the problem. The first beat, the guilt trap, why saying no feels wrong, and the true cost of people-pleasing. Many of us are conditioned from a young age to be agreeable, to avoid conflict, to prioritize the feelings of others. This conditioning, while often well-intentioned, lays the foundation for people-pleasing tendencies. We are taught that good people are accommodating, that saying no is rude or selfish. This deeply ingrained belief system makes asserting our needs feel like a moral failing. When you consistently say yes when you mean no, you are not being kind. You are being strategically disadvantaged. You are teaching others that your time, your energy, and your emotional bandwidth are limitless and always available for their demands. This leads to a profound emotional drain, a constant feeling of being depleted. Imagine a well that is constantly drawn from but never refilled. Eventually, it runs dry.
That is what happens to your emotional reserves when you fail to set boundaries. The cost of people-pleasing is immense. It includes chronic stress, resentment towards those you feel obligated to, a loss of personal identity, and a deep-seated feeling of being unappreciated or taken for granted. Psychological studies on the impact of guilt on assertive behavior consistently show that the fear of guilt is a primary barrier to individuals asserting their needs. This fear paralyzes us, keeping us silent when we should speak, keeping us compliant when we should resist. It is a powerful emotional lever that others, consciously or unconsciously, can pull to get what they want. This trap is insidious because it makes you believe that your discomfort is a sign of your badness, when in reality it is a signal of your boundaries being violated. It is a signal that your strategic self-preservation mechanisms are being overridden by a conditioned response. This is not a weakness, it is a pattern, and patterns can be broken. The pervasive guilt you feel is not a moral failing, it is a learned response, a habit of prioritizing external harmony over internal integrity.
But this habit can be unlearned, and this pattern can be strategically rewired. Now, let us shift our perspective and explore the true power of boundaries. The second beat, your power paradox, how boundaries build respect, not resentment. This is where we challenge the core misconception, the idea that boundaries create distance or animosity. The truth is, clear boundaries are the foundation of genuine respect and authentic connection.
When you lack boundaries, you invite others to disrespect your time, your energy, and your needs. You inadvertently teach them that your limits are flexible, or worse, non-existent. This does not foster love or closeness. It fosters resentment on your part, and often a subtle contempt on theirs. Think of it like this. A house without a fence invites trespassers. A house with a clear, well-maintained fence commands respect for its property lines. The fence does not push people away. It defines the space. It clarifies the terms of engagement. Some might fear that setting firm boundaries will make them seem selfish and push people away, leading to isolation. This is a common counter-thesis, but it misunderstands the strategic outcome. Initial friction is normal. Those who resist your boundaries are often those who benefited most from their absence. This friction is a necessary phase that helps you identify truly authentic connections, those who respect your needs versus those who only value what they can take. Research on effective communication strategies for boundary setting consistently demonstrates that individuals who clearly articulate their limits experience higher levels of mutual respect in their relationships. This is because boundaries communicate self-worth. They signal that you value yourself enough to protect your resources. This self-respect is magnetic. It attracts individuals who also value respect, and it repels those who seek to exploit. This is the power paradox. By strategically drawing lines, you do not push away. You pull in. You pull in genuine connection. You pull in authentic respect. You create a space where relationships can thrive on honesty and mutual consideration, rather than obligation and unspoken resentment. This is not about building walls. It is about building a strong, clear perimeter for your personal power. It is about creating a strategic framework for your interactions that ensures your well-being is not a casualty of your relationships, but a core component of them. This shift from resentment to respect is not just theoretical. It is a practical outcome of implementing clear boundaries. It is about transforming your relationships from draining liabilities into empowering.
Now, let us dive into the actionable steps of the Strategic Boundary Blueprint. Our third beat, Blueprint Step 1. Identify your non-negotiables and communicate them clearly, overcoming the fear of selfishness. The first step in setting unbreakable boundaries is to know what your boundaries are. This requires deep self-reflection, a strategic audit of your own needs, values, time, energy, and emotional limits. What are the things you absolutely cannot compromise on? What are the activities or requests that consistently leave you feeling drained or resentful? These are your non-negotiables, your strategic red lines. Take time to identify these. Write them down. Be specific. For example, a non-negotiable might be, I will not respond to work emails after 6 p.m. Or, I will not lend money that I cannot afford to lose. Or, I need at least 1 hour of uninterrupted quiet time each day. These are not arbitrary rules. They are the pillars of your personal integrity and well-being. To help you identify them, consider different categories. Physical boundaries, like personal space or touch. Emotional boundaries, like not being responsible for others' feelings or not tolerating emotional dumping. Time boundaries, like your availability for tasks or social engagements. Material boundaries, like lending possessions or money. And intellectual boundaries, like respecting differing opinions. Once identified, the next crucial step is to communicate them clearly. This is where many falter, fearing they will appear selfish. Remember, this is an act of self-respect, not selfishness. Use I statements to express your boundaries. For instance, instead of, you always ask too much of me, try, I feel overwhelmed when I take on too many tasks, so I need to say no to this request.
Direct, clear, and concise. Avoid hinting, passive aggression, or over-explaining. Over-explanation often sounds like an apology, which undermines your boundary. A simple, I appreciate you asking, but I won't be able to do that, is often sufficient. For example, if a friend asks for a last-minute favor that conflicts with your quiet time, you might say, "I understand this is urgent, but I have a prior commitment to myself at that time, so I can't help today." This communicates your limit without apology or excessive detail. Practice these phrases in front of a mirror. Visualize yourself calmly and confidently stating your boundaries. This mental rehearsal builds confidence and reduces anxiety when the real situation arises. Remember, your boundaries are not a negotiation. They are a statement of your needs. Moving forward, we tackle the practical application and the internal battle. Our fourth beat, Blueprint Steps 2-3. Assertive refusal without apology, reframing guilt as a signal for self-respect. Step 2 is about practicing assertive refusal without apology or over-explanation. When you apologize for a boundary, you imply you have done something wrong, which undermines your position. When you over-explain, you give others leverage to debate or manipulate. Your boundary is valid simply because it is yours. The key is to be firm, polite, and brief. Consider the broken record technique. Calmly repeat your boundary without engaging in lengthy arguments. For example, if someone keeps pushing after you have said no, you can simply reiterate, "As I said, I won't be able to help with that."
Your body language is also critical. Maintain direct eye contact. Stand or sit confidently, and use a calm, steady tone of voice. Avoid fidgeting or looking away, which can signal uncertainty. Let us consider a common scenario. A colleague asks you to take on a project that will require you to work late, impacting your non-negotiable evening time. An ineffective response might be, "Oh, I really want to help, but I'm just so swamped and my family needs me and I'm so tired." An assertive, guilt-free response using the blueprint would be, "I appreciate you thinking of me for this project. My capacity is currently full, so I won't be able to take it on." No apology, no over-explanation, just a clear statement of your limit. Now, a crucial counter-thesis often arises here. It's impossible to set boundaries with certain people, like family members, without causing irreparable damage to the relationship. This is a deeply held fear, but it is incomplete. While setting boundaries with family can be challenging and may initially cause friction, it is rarely irreparable damage to a truly authentic relationship. In fact, it is often the only way to preserve the relationship's long-term health and your own well-being. Strategies for high-stakes relationships include starting small, focusing on specific behaviors rather than attacking the person, and using I statements that express your needs while affirming the relationship. For example, "Mom, I love you, and because I value our relationship, I need to be clear that I won't be discussing my finances anymore."
Be prepared for pushback. Those accustomed to violating your boundaries may react strongly, but holding firm, consistently, and calmly teaches them your new strategic perimeter. Therapeutic principles for overcoming people-pleasing tendencies emphasize that this initial discomfort is a sign of growth, not failure. This leads us directly to step 3. Reframe guilt as a signal, not a stop sign, and reinforce your value. Guilt is a conditioned response, a habit formed from years of prioritizing others. When you feel that familiar pang of guilt after setting a boundary, do not let it stop you. Instead, reframe it. This guilt is not a sign that you have done something wrong. It is a signal that you are honoring your needs, breaking old patterns, and strategically investing in your self-respect. It is a sign of growth. Acknowledge the feeling, but do not let it dictate your actions. Ask yourself, what is this guilt trying to tell me? Often, it is a fear of disapproval, a fear of not being liked. Remember, genuine respect is far more valuable than superficial approval. Reinforce your value by reminding yourself of your non-negotiables and why they are important to your well-being. Tell yourself, "I am worthy of respect and my needs are valid." Psychological studies on cognitive reframing show that consciously changing your interpretation of an emotion can significantly reduce its power over you. The counter-thesis, that guilt is a natural and unavoidable part of setting boundaries, trying to eliminate it is unrealistic, is partially true initially, but incomplete. While initial guilt is common, it is not unavoidable long-term.
With consistent practice of this blueprint and conscious reframing, the intensity and frequency of guilt will diminish. You are not eliminating the emotion entirely, but strategically managing your response to it, transforming it from a paralyzing force into a fleeting signal of progress. Finally, let us look at the ultimate payoff, our fifth and final beat, the unshakable self,
cultivating authentic relationships and lasting personal power. By consistently implementing the strategic boundary blueprint, you will experience profound transformations. The emotional drain will lessen, replaced by a surge of renewed energy. Your relationships will shift. Those who genuinely respect you will remain and deepen, while those who sought to exploit your lack of boundaries will naturally recede. This is not isolation. This is strategic pruning for authentic connection. You will attract individuals who value mutual respect and reciprocity, fostering relationships built on honesty and genuine support. Case studies demonstrating improved relationship quality after boundary implementation are abundant in therapeutic literature. Individuals report feeling more seen, heard, and valued. You will cultivate an unshakable sense of personal power, an internal locus of control that no longer relies on external validation or the approval of others. This power comes from knowing your worth, honoring your needs, and strategically managing your interactions. You will experience a profound sense of peace and clarity, free from the resentment and exhaustion that once plagued you. This blueprint is your strategic tool for self-preservation, for building a life where your well-being is paramount and your relationships are sources of strength, not depletion. The journey to an unshakable self begins with a single firm no and a clear communicated boundary. Implement this blueprint today. Your power awaits.